Welcome back to the set. Today you're going behind the scenes of a shoot where I'm using a brand new tool, and it's probably one that you wouldn't normally expect. So let's go ahead and dive into it. This is the Colbor CineFlare CF5, and this little device is actually really fun to use on set. This is a shoot I DP'd recently in a big TV studio. I used the Sony FX3 as my B cam, and I used the FX9 as my A cam. This is a well-ventilated studio, so before every other take, I would run out there and just throw a little bit of fog over by the window just to get a little bit of atmosphere in the background. And it comes in this little kit with a bunch of different accessories for different effects. In this video, we're gonna go over some examples of how to use this CF5. We're gonna do a little lighting setup here that I have on this table and my overall review of it. So very quickly, let's just go over everything you get in the kit. It holds everything in this zippered case. This fog machine is designed to be used handheld in a couple different ways, but you can also mount it on a light stand with a 1/4 threaded hole on the bottom. You can use it vertically, or you can just press the button and rotate the whole thing into a gun style mode. The different tops connect magnetically, and you just pop them off to install your oil chamber. It comes with a bottle of this odorless vegetable glycerin that doesn't smell like one of those haunted house fog machines. So my first question was, how do I get more? And I was happy to find that Colbor actually sells them on Amazon, so I'll have links to those down below. It's normal for there to be a couple drops already in the chamber because they test these before they send them out, but the very first time you fill it, it suggests that you actually let it sit for about 5 minutes and then fire up your machine. So I'm just gonna charge it for 5 minutes and then continue. You have two different magnetic tops. This one has full RGB and 3 different fan speeds. The other top for the machine can be used on its own, or you can use one of the mini attachments like this little flexible arm. This one is great for really concentrating the fog in a small area. And then you have some shorter pieces too if you just want to drop it directly on there like this. You also get this little spongy diffuser that can go on the different attachments. And it comes with a remote if you want to control your fog machine wirelessly, and a USB-C cable for recharging the device. So that's everything you get with the kit. Now we're gonna go over how to use it for just briefly 1 minute, and then we're gonna get into the lighting tutorial. There are chapters below if you wanna go ahead and skip to that part. But if this is our first time meeting, I'm Ray Valencia. This channel is all about filmmaking gear, tips, and tutorials. So if that's something that you're interested in, hey, stick around and subscribe. All right, back into it. So the cool thing is you can control how much output is on here as well. You'll see on the gun itself, you have the plus, the minus, and this little power button. The power button actually serves as a little bit of like a mode button, so you can go between the bubble mode. The bubbles give you 5 different levels of fog density, and the fan gives you 5 different levels of fan speed. And then you also have a timer function where you can just make it fire automatically, and we'll go into that by hitting the plus. So you see here how you have the different options for the timer. So you have a couple different functions there that you can set a timer where this thing will just automatically keep going every 3 to 5 seconds. Now with this topper, I don't know if you can hear that, but we have the fan on and it's on high mode. And with that, now we can disperse this fog just a little bit better. Hit the mode button, and now we have the light enabled. Now we hit up to enable low, medium, and high. There you go. Very, very cool. I like it a lot. One of the sickest things about using a fog machine or a hazer is you're able to get those amazing God rays of light. Let's see if the CF5 can add any visual interest to a shot like this. Alright, now let's add the CF5. Let's go ahead and fog it up. A couple quick pillow wafts and we have our rays of light. And now you can see how this dramatically affected the look of our scene. These light rays make it where we're able to get some more interesting looking shots that we didn't have previously. And my curiosity got the best of me, so I wanted to know if this fog would stain any of my fabrics if I was to spray it directly on it. And the answer is no residue. And that's how I got this cool shot for last week's video. I do a little series here on the channel called Ray of Light, so we're gonna do a little mini segment of that now. All right, so for this very simple lighting setup, I do have 3 lights all going from the same direction right here. So for this main softbox overhead key light right here, I have the Zhiyun Malis G200. It is a 200 watt light that I'm just using as an overall fill for the whole subject. Double diffusion layer softbox on there with a grid. So that's just kind of coming down and flooding over the overall scene. So we are starting completely from scratch. So the only light on it now is coming from the little light off to the side that I have here. I have a little pseudo panel light off to the side. So besides that, this is our setup. We have the Sony FX3 70-200. So for our main key lights, turn it on. There we go. That gets us our nice soft overall kind of fill light that's on our overall scene here. Next, we're gonna kick on this Amaran 200XS, and that has a window pattern in it. This is a 200 watt light, and I have the Amaran Spotlight barrel on there as well. So that has a blind pattern in it, and I'll show you what that does. So this is with the blind pattern on and the blind pattern off. So that's how we're able to create this blind pattern that kind of goes over the back as if there was some kind of window nearby on a countertop. And then I felt like I needed a little bit of a hard edge, some kind of like fake sunshine coming in from the same direction as our window pattern. So here I have the Colbor CL60R, and this is an RGB light. I also have one right over here, CL60R, and you can see that one's lit up to green. So they are full RGB. Right now I have this one set to daylight, and I'm just shining a little cast of light over here across the coffee cup. And it's not aiming directly at it, but kind of feathered off to the side. That way it doesn't wash out the background too much. This is off, and our sunlight on. So yeah, that makes a big difference there. And then I'm just kind of breaking up the light here with a little plant just to give it a little extra shape. You can bring that in or out however much you want, and that makes it just, you know, ever so slightly more interesting. So now all I need to do is add a little bit of steam to this ice cold coffee to make it look hot. So we'll fire up the Colbor CF5. Power's on very quickly, and then within a couple seconds you can start getting some fog out. You don't have to wait for this to preheat like some of the other bigger fog machines that I've seen. This one's ready to go like immediately. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of steam to our cup of coffee, and that looks really good and really believable. So we'd want to do just a couple takes just to make sure that the steam goes the direction that we want it to go. No wind is blowing it around. We want it to go up. We don't want the steam to come down and around the cup because it'll look fake. So we want it to just come right off the top. Here, let's get a good amount in there, and that'll give us a few second take, and that looks really good. Not a sponsored ad, but I did want to share this badass tool with you guys. It's audio. You can download all kinds of unlimited music and sound effects here, and even download individual stems from the songs that you like. So if you like the music in this video, use the code Valencia70 to get 70% off your first year of audio. All right, very quickly, I just moved stuff around to create a different effect. I put some of that coffee in this cup with a little bit of water, and I got a big old ice cube and some blueberries in this cup here, and then I got a shaker, and then this is like some non-alcoholic kind of mixer or something like that, just to give it some color over here on this side of the frame. A little bit busy, we got a lot going on here, but just to get this overall effect going, we're gonna drop in a little bit of this smoke to appear as some dried ice, or like give it that icy effect like this. Very cool, that looks awesome. And then we're gonna drop in our coffee. Oop, made a little mess there. Oh yeah, look at that. That looks awesome for just being a little bit of coffee and water and a couple blueberries. So I don't think I would want to drink that, but you gotta admit, it does look really good, right? All right, so again, for the breakdown, we have the Zhiyun light up top with the softbox. Here it goes. All right, next up, we have our window pattern with the Amaran light. There's that. And then lastly, we have our Colbor CL60R. And that's lighting up this bottle and just kind of giving us a little bit of a sunshine look. And then last but not least, we just drop in a little bit of our fog, our dry ice. And there we go. That's looking freaking incredible. So as with every review, I always have to mention some of the negatives or things that could use improvement in a future generation. And that's part of Colbor sending me a product to review, is that I get to say whatever I want. So if there was one negative that I would say, it's just how easy that the attachments come off for this one. For example, if you're messing around and, you know, putting it in objects and moving it around, it's really simple to knock off. Watch this. So that simple, I'm able to just knock the attachment right off. Not a huge deal, but if you're trying to focus all of your fog into a small area and suddenly you actually knock that off and you're just spraying foam everywhere again and you fog up your whole scene, then maybe something like this could be a little bit of an annoyance. So that's really the only negative thing for me, is that I wish that it secured on there just a little bit better. This one just looks freaking cool. But anyways, guys, this video is not sponsored, but if you are interested in picking up this sweet little gadget, there will be links to everything down in the description below. And as always, shoot for the stars, and I'll see you very soon in the next video.
Good boy.
Or do a P-line. A Poochie scooter.
Poochie scooter. That would have been great.
Get him to scooch across the road.